Today on Studio One, many people buy low-fat foods thinking they will help prevent major health problems. We'll tell you about a study that says otherwise. Also, a good education can have a major impact on a student's life. We'll take you to a school that gives its students a lot more than most. And a good meal at the end of a long trip can taste so good. We'll spend a day in the life of someone who serves people on the way to their destinations.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Jenna Lund.
Well, many people commute back and forth to work or to see friends. A lot of people on the road.
Especially when they're traveling long distances.
Yeah,
too.
Going on vacation and things. And there are a lot of hazards out there to watch out for when you're driving. Something that a lot of people forget to check is their tires, whether they're still in good shape, whether they need new ones or not.
Or to be rotated. Even.
Right, exactly. Maintenance. There's a whole bunch of questions you can ask about them. We have a tire expert coming on the show today, and he's going to show us exactly what to look for tires that need to be replaced and what to look for in a good new tire. That's coming up on the show. Also, many college students decide to skip a class now and then. We'll tell you what many universities are doing to try to get those students back in the classroom.
Also, there are many misconceptions the public has about Native American-run casinos. One author will share his thoughts on this controversial issue.
Before we get to that, here's today's news with Mariah Torney.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. President Bush defended his decision to allow a Middle Eastern company to operate 6 major U.S. ports on Thursday. While the company based in the United Arab Emirates will operate the port, security will be run by U.S. Customs and the U.S. Coast Guard. Bush says the United States must not send mixed messages to its allies. The Arab company is set to purchase the rights to operate the ports next month from a British firm. Since the U.S. has allowed a British company to manage some of its ports, Bush says it must also allow a Middle Eastern company to do the same.
And so people don't need to worry about security. This deal wouldn't go forward if we were concerned about the security for the United States of America.
The Senate Armed Services Committee met Thursday to discuss the controversy surrounding the U.S. ports. Both Republicans and Democrats voiced their opinions, saying this could be a possible threat to the nation's security. A 3-month review of the port deal has been completed. However, lawmakers are requesting that a more thorough review take place. The cold season is well underway, and many people are looking for a fast way to get relief from nasal congestion. But if used improperly, some remedies can actually make a stuffy nose even worse. Labels on nasal sprays like Zicam and Afrin warn not to use them more than twice a day for more than 3 or 4 days at a time. Experts say that using nasal sprays too often could cause a common cold or sinus infection to develop into something more serious.
What happens though is the tissues over time start to get less blood supply to them, and then the tissues start to become damaged, and you can get a very chronic inflammatory response from it.
Other problems associated with overuse of nasal sprays are irreversible damage to nerve endings and a permanent runny nose. A significant milestone has been reached in the war on cancer. The National Center for Health Statistics' most recent data shows that annual cancer deaths are on the decline. It found that cancer-related deaths are down slightly from 2002 to 2003. This is the first time in 70 years that the number of deaths has declined. Health experts say this is due to fewer people smoking and better tumor detection and treatment. However, as the baby boomers continue to age, they say it is possible the cancer rates will rise in the years to come. College students are used to being evaluated on their tests, papers, and other assignments, but many are seeing something else included in what determines their grade.
More public universities are beginning to follow a trend found at private schools. Many colleges are making attendance a requirement in helping to determine a student's grade. Like most other colleges, the University of North Dakota currently does not allow professors to give grades based on attendance, but that could soon change.
I think it would be hard to have a required policy where you had to attend class, but I think that a class should be run where if students don't come, they feel that they missed something.
UND is following the lead of many other public universities in trying to solve the attendance problem by considering a new policy. It would make attendance a part of a student's grade.
I think if someone wants to come to college, they're an adult, it's going to be their responsibility to get up and go to class. If they want to go to class, it's going to affect their grades. So I think it just should fall upon the students and not the administration.
But many professors find other ways to keep students coming to class by using pop quizzes and homework assignments.
A professor can work it in, hopefully subtly, without saying it is a part of your grade. For example, you could give them a certain % of their grade on participation.
Students juggle many other activities such as a job that are sometimes hard to get out of for a class period. Under the proposed new policy, the instructor would decide what counts as an excused absence.
It rewards the people who actually go to class, and so I'd definitely approve of that.
But other students say since they're paying for their education, they should be able to decide to go to class or not. I'm Amanda Pizik reporting for Studio One News.
Research has shown that students who frequently miss their classes tend to receive lower grades. And that's the news for now. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks, Mariah. I'm sure some of those students couldn't make it to class. Past couple weeks, it's been pretty cold. They couldn't even start their cars, I'm sure.
I'm sure, but now the weather is getting warmer, so they have plenty of excuse to get to class.
That's right.
We're going to check out Matt Benz at the weather studio. What can you tell us about the weather this week?
Well, I can tell you, you can't use weather as an excuse not to go to class because it looks like it's going to finally warm up. All that cold air that was over us, finally going to get out of here. But across much of our region, the average highs, yeah, they're starting to warm up this time of year. Mid-30s in Bismarck and Minneapolis, and your average lows, of course, are starting to warm up as well across our region and across the national map. Now, these are just averages. These aren't the actual temperatures, but they're starting to look pretty nice because we are heading towards spring. Look at that, 65 down in Dallas. That's pretty warm for this time of year for their average high. I know that seems pretty balmy, and also out in LA, that seems like the place to be if you're looking at the temperatures on this map right now. And as well as your average lows, well, they're starting to get a little bit warmer too. Looks like 28 out in Chicago and 40 down in Atlanta. Getting a little bit milder, and that's good news as we head towards spring. But it looks like over the next week or so, we're going to have pretty much dry conditions everywhere east of the Rockies. So if you're east of the Rockies, it looks like we're going to be pretty dry, and that's going to be a persistent pattern, especially across the central Mississippi Valley. But if you're looking for an area that's going to be wet, that would be the West Coast. They're really going to need that wet moisture because they've been going through a drought over the past couple of years. So it looks like over the next week, they're going to be getting a little bit more moisture coming into their area as well. But over the last, pretty much the first half of February, we've seen the polar jet stream off to the north here. This is this really cold air that was over the top of us. Well, this is finally going to shift towards the east, towards New England, and we'll have to keep an eye on this. This is a subtropical jet stream here, and that's what's going to be coming up towards the central part of the country, and especially across our viewing area. Look at that. That warm air is beginning to pump up as we begin to see this ridge begin to build here, and that's what's going to bring us warmer weather for the end of February, hopefully. We may see a couple spurts of cold air in that time period, but overall it looks like we're going to see a very nice jet stream, nice ridge across the midsection of the country, and just warm air starting to pump up pretty much average temperatures to above average temperatures here in the upcoming weeks. So anyways, well, we're going to take a look at our weather question. We're going to ask you what was the greatest 24-hour temperature change in the U.S. and you have a few examples, few answers there to look forward to, as well as some storm footage from the East Coast. They seem to be getting hit an awful lot as of late.
Thanks, Matt. Those numbers are pretty high.
They're very high.
So
80 to, to 100.
Really drastic change in a 24-hour
period. That's like a whole season change in one day. All right, well, let's go to some sports highlights now. I think we've got some college hoops in store for us. Nathan Shane has those.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. Duke's J.J. Redick and Gonzaga's Adam Morrison have made the race for Division I's best basketball player a two-man contest. Because Morrison and the Bulldogs had the evening off, all eyes were on Redick as he had a chance to prove his case against ACC foe Georgia Tech. But it would be the Yellow Jackets in this one who'd start off big. Jeremy Smith drives and makes the layup. That would open up an 8-point lead in the first half. Now on to the second half. Under 10 minutes to go. The outlet pass goes all the way out to Redick. Redick with a good ball fake. Not a great layup there, but Josh McRoberts is there to follow up the dunk. Score tied at 53. Now under 9 minutes left. J.J. Redick didn't have a great shooting night. He hit that one. He was only 5 of 21, uncharacteristic for him. Under 5 minutes left to go now. Still paying him some respect, but Sheldon Williams goes in for the dunk. Final score, Duke wins 73-66. On to Kansas where the Wildcats take on Texas. Mario Terban gets the dunk there. Kansas State making it close. They'd make it closer yet with this jumper by Lance Harris. That brings the Wildcats within one, but it'd be Daniel Gibson and the rest of the Longhorns pulling away with this one. Gibson gets the layup. Texas wins 65-64. Some athletes can predict how they are going to play even before a game starts. They don't have the power to see into the future, but are using another technique instead. Imagery is a growing trend among athletes today. It is when an athlete visualizes themselves performing before they actually do it. Imagery can be used by athletes young or old, amateur or professional. Although each case is unique, many athletes have confirmed that using imagery has improved their game mentally, physically, and emotionally.
It can help people with learning strategies of the sport. It can help people regulate their emotions, their arousal levels, the nerves, the butterflies.
Short says imagery is often used subconsciously, but athletes can train themselves or seek professional help to do this before any sporting event. And now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question, and we're going to test you on your general Winter Olympic knowledge. We want to know how many total medals does the all-time leader have in the Winter Olympics? And the answers range anywhere from 9 to 12. And we'll have the answer to that question plus some more sports later on in the show. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks, Nathan. The new movie Running Scared features a story about a man who is hunted by both the mafia and the police. We'll preview the film later in the show.
Also, Native American communities are gaining confidence. They are developing schools, reducing poverty, and increasing employment. One expert will tell us how casinos can help these communities.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty founded Texas Instruments and helped it become one of the nation's high-tech giants. Raymond Rood is responsible for the modern diving board. His diving boards have been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. Chris Moen and Marlene Schott launched their food company through the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Will yours be next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Advance your career with a graduate business degree from the University of North Dakota. The graduate school at UND offers a variety of master's degrees that can help you stand out in the competitive business world. Our programs accommodate full-time students as well as working professionals. Our state-of-the-art facilities, dedicated faculty, and entrepreneurial training position graduates for careers as business leaders. Make your move towards a business leadership position. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
The first casinos cropped up on Native American land 20 years ago. Tribes that decide to take part in this income-generating venture have changed their communities forever. Books about Native American-run casinos and their economic development are hard to find. Political science professor and author Stephen Light co-wrote the book Indian Gaming and Tribal Sovereignty, The Casino Compromise. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
First of all, why did you think that this would be a good topic for the book?
Well, it's a really exciting industry. It's something that people know about, but they don't know a lot about it. So we found, my co-author and I, Catherine Rand at the School of Law, found that people have a lot of opinions about Indian gaming, but they don't necessarily have a lot of great information about it. So we thought now was the time to write a book.
What were your intentions when you first started writing it?
We wanted to lay out in the most clear and comprehensive way possible what the law and politics of Indian gaming are, so that a general reader, someone like yourself or anyone else, could just pick up the book and really develop an understanding of what Indian gaming is today.
Okay, what is so important to know about the relationship between Native American sovereignty and gaming?
There is a very important relationship, and what we argue in the book is that people really need to understand what tribal sovereignty is in order to understand what Indian gaming means to tribes today. So tribal sovereignty presents a really complicated, long history of interactions between tribes and the federal government, and tribes and states as well, and that informs the law and politics and policy of Indian gaming.
Okay, how does the federal government play in the role of tribal gaming?
Well, that's a long, complicated history there, but to condense it, the relationship between tribes and the federal government is one that has grown and changed over time. Sometimes the federal government has recognized tribal sovereignty through treaty making and the like. At other times, the federal government has undercut tribal sovereignty, that is the right of tribes to make their own decisions about their internal politics and their own communities. So that's a relationship that's grown and changed over time, and the federal government has a pretty strong regulatory role over Indian gaming today.
There are a lot of different attitudes towards tribal casinos and gaming. What are the types of misconceptions that the public has?
In the book, we lay out in some detail what some of the perceptions are of Indian gaming and tribes and Indians as well, American Indians. There's kind of an overriding sense that there's something that we call a casino Indian, that is something that, that describes how tribal members think about Indian gaming and perhaps pursue Indian casinos as a means to get rich or get rich quick. That casino Indian image, we argue, is not an accurate one, since the real goal of Indian gaming is economic development and jobs on reservations.
So what is the reality of the casino Indian?
The reality is that the federal goals related to Indian gaming are such that it encourages tribal economic development, job creation, it encourages strong tribal governments, and that ultimately, we argue, is something that could be a win-win for everybody, whether you're an Indian or a non-Indian.
From your research, what are the main pros and cons of
casinos? That's a really important question, and in the book we lay out in some detail what the existing studies say about the pros and cons of Indian gaming. On the one hand, you could find some significant economic pros, and on the other hand, you could find some economic costs. For instance, for tribes in particular, Indian gaming presents a windfall. It presents a way to promote job creation, to create healthcare centers, daycare centers, other means of economic development on the reservation. And we also can find that there are some economic benefits for states as well and localities where tribal casinos are. On the other hand, you might find that casinos take money away from existing mom and pop stores, divert resources. And then on the other hand, there are social benefits and social costs as well. So does a casino cause crime? Does it cause problems related to divorce or pathological gambling? Those are costs. For tribes, there are many social benefits. Potentially retention of tribal culture or tribal language are among them.
Who do you think this book will help?
Well, we think it'll help everyone to understand the law and politics of Indian gaming, but the book is targeted at a general readership. We've had a chance to see the book go into its second printing now, which we're very excited about. It's something that's attracting some attention nationally as well, and we get calls and such from the national media to comment based on the book. So we're excited about the fact that a lot of people are taking a look at it, students, and we hope policymakers as well.
All right. Well, congratulations on the accomplishment of your book, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Coming up, we live in an ever-moving society with millions of vehicles on the road. Later in the show, we'll tell you how to pick up the right set of tires to keep you safe on the road. Also, when drivers need a good place to eat, they often select a restaurant with a friendly atmosphere. Next, we'll meet one woman whose service keeps her customers' hearts and stomachs happy.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
New Line Cinema presents the action thriller Running Scared, starring Paul Walker. The film is about a low-level mob employee trying to protect his family from his mobster ties and the police. Walker's character, Joey Gazelle, is told to get rid of a gun used in a botched robbery where a police officer was killed. But when Joey's son and his friend find the gun, they set off a chain of events which puts the police and the mafia on their trail. Walker says he likes the character and enjoys the work.
I know I'm going to take pride in this. Like, I take pride in it every day, showing up, and like everything I do, I work really, really hard, and I know ultimately when it's done, this is going to be a movie that my friends are they're going to like watching, they're going to enjoy watching.
Although the film is based in New Jersey, most of the movie was actually shot in Prague. Sound stages were used for many of the interior action scenes. Running Scared is rated R and opens February 24th in theaters. Now it's time to take a look at the events happening in your area. Some truck drivers may find the highway a lonely place. One woman gives her customers a way to enjoy the open road. Today we spend a day in the life of a truck stop waitress.
Do I put to go in there, Dewey? Okay.
This waitress knows how to make her customers satisfied. Whether it is starting out in her mom's restaurant or in this truck stop cafe, she always loves the customers and workers.
It's like home, you know? Like I said, why go to a different job? You know, you start out on the bottom, you're here, you know everything you're doing.
Susan switches into overdrive when it comes to serving her customers. Along with the food, Susan often serves a healthy portion of conversation. Her coworkers say they admire her hard work.
I watched her when I first come here and I thought, God, you know, I want to be like her. You know, she's just got it all down pat. She's got the rhythm good, you know, she knows how to treat people and stuff.
Although the journey for a truck driver may be long, a short break and a good meal can make the trip worthwhile. Many truck stops offer a little bit of relaxation for a driver who has been on the road for hours. Some truck drivers will even map out a route to get to their favorite truck stop.
It's a good place to come to eat. We stop here quite a bit. Yeah, they're very friendly here, and we enjoy it.
When regular customers come in, they sometimes leave more than a monetary tip behind.
There was this little couple, I used to wait on them for years, and they would come in, and whether it was Christmas or some other little holiday, they always had one of those little miniature candy bars wrapped up, and they would put that on top of their dollar as a tip.
With her long haul of experience, Susan helps to keep the truckers trucking. This is Jessie Weber reporting for Studio One.
Susan has been a waitress for more than 25 years. She says she is always ready to meet new people and start new conversations. Teachers can often help children learn math and science, but sometimes they become an even greater influence. Coming up in our Studio One Spotlight, we'll see how one group of teachers is making a big difference in their students' lives. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Do you need a flexible way to earn your degree? The University of North Dakota's Degrees After Hours program is designed to work around your full-time schedule. Whether you've got a family, a full-time job, or both, the Degrees After Hours program offers you flexible alternatives. You can earn a degree or take courses online through video conferencing and in the evenings or on weekends. UND's Degrees After Hours program fits your needs, your schedule, and your goals. Contact UND today.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today.
Well, ever since 9/11, as pretty much everyone knows, a lot of things have changed, including security.
Yeah, security is a big thing, especially in the airports.
Right, from airport to border, and now Bush actually tapped into some telephone lines because of the war on terror.
Yeah.
And that's becoming a big issue with some people about invasion of privacy.
Yeah, whether or not, you know, he's crossing the line, but he might be saving lives with the war on terror.
So we went out and asked for your opinion and to see what others had to say about this. Safety and privacy.
And that's coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One. Also, the results of a new study on low-fat diets has surprised the medical community. We'll tell you what they found out.
Also, many people have certain obstacles they must overcome in life. In our Spotlight story, we'll take you to a school that helps a group of kids overcome their biggest challenge.
And drivers sometimes worry about their safety because of others driving around them. We'll have a tire expert show us how the wrong set of tires can be just as dangerous. But first, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. The Sunni Muslim Party in Iraq ended talks to form a new government Thursday. The move comes after counterattacks related to the bombing of a prominent Shiite mosque. A 275-member Iraqi parliament has been working with Shiites, Kurds, and Sunnis to create a new government. But the violence still rages between the Shiites and the Sunni people. In Baghdad, more than 50 Sunni mosques have been attacked. The revenge attacks from the Shiite mosque bombing have left more than 100 people dead. Iraqi President Talabani is urging all parties to condemn the violence and continue to work towards a unified government. Early Thursday morning, a snow-laden roof collapsed on a large Moscow market. 49 people have died and many are trapped in the wreckage. Trapped survivors called relatives using mobile phones and aided rescue workers. Heavy snowfall and improper building design are being blamed for the collapse. Rescuers are using machines to blow warm air into the rubble to keep survivors alive in the near-freezing temperatures. Fast food companies are often blamed for producing much of the trash found on city streets. The city of Oakland, California plans on getting them to pay for the cleanup. It has approved a tax that would charge restaurants an extra fee for trash removal. Some restaurant owners in other communities hope what happened in Oakland doesn't become a trend. The owner of this restaurant in Grand Forks, North Dakota, says it's up to the customer to dispose of the packaging properly, not the restaurant. He says that in the end, the customers would be the ones paying the tax.
Even though the business does not want to, would have to pass it on to the consumer.
According to the community improvement group Keep America Beautiful, fast food packaging accounts for 20% of all litter that is found on city streets. Teenage girls have surpassed boys in an area that is causing concern. A study done by the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy found that teenage girls are more likely than boys to try drugs and alcohol. It also found that girls have surpassed boys in smoking cigarettes and abusing prescription drugs. Research shows that girls often have lower self-esteem as they transition into adulthood, which could be the reason for increased experimentation. Health experts say adolescents who use drugs are likely to face depression later in life. For years, people have followed a low-fat diet in hopes of reducing the risk of heart attack and cancer, but the results of a new study are questioning that strategy.
Many believe that stocking up on low-fat products is a good way to stay healthy. However, these low-fat diets may not be the solution to all health problems. According to a study done by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, low-fat diets have little impact on reducing health risks such as breast cancer, heart disease, and stroke. What may be confusing for some to find out that low-fat products do not provide those benefits.
It's kind of interesting. They always say it does, but I guess it doesn't then.
Other shoppers weren't surprised.
It doesn't really have a huge impact unless they came out and said a specific food gave you cancer. Then I might take heed or take warning about it. But low fat and all this protein, Atkins kind of diet stuff, it's usually just fads.
The results of the $415 million study were a surprise to the medical community. For years, scientists believed that reducing overall fat would reduce the risk of many specific health problems. This recent study contradicts their theory. But despite the findings, nutritionists warn that people should not run to the nearest fast food restaurant.
In general, people who eat low-fat diets tend to eat a lower calorie diet overall, and we certainly know that's a benefit in terms of obesity, diabetes, a whole host of diseases, including cardiovascular disease and some cancers.
Even though a low-fat diet may not have the health impact many believed, the study did confirm that it can help people to lose weight, so shoppers can still find some major benefits from filling their cart with low-fat products. I'm Dina Davis reporting for Studio One News.
The study will be extended for another 4 years before the results can be considered as completely valid. And that's the news for now. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks a lot, Mariah. It's so hard to keep all the studies straight.
It is. I think it's just exercise and balance.
Yeah, right. If it was only that easy, but we have to know exactly what to do, right?
But I remember Matt said he had some more footage this week of some of the eastern states. They're having some rough weather again over there.
Yeah, they've been stormy weather out there.
Hey, Matt, how come the weather won't settle down over there?
Well, they've been seeing storms just about every week now. They've had 2 in a row. This one was pretty much a doozy of a storm. It didn't drop a lot of snow, but it brought a lot of high winds, and it was mostly towards the East Coast. How do you like to wake up to that in the morning? Giant tree through your roof. But anyways, out towards the East Coast, out in New York State, they saw a lot of trees down due to heavy gusting winds. Around 70-mile-an-hour winds out in New York State, and out in Stratton Mountain, Vermont, they had 143-mile-an-hour gusts. But on the lighter side, out in the west, this is Las Vegas, and just outside of San Francisco, they saw some snowfall in the foothills, kind of a different wake-up call, so to say. Instead of off on the East Coast, they had all that wind, but down towards the desert Southwest was where that snowfall was. A little bit unusual, a little bit cooler than average temperatures for them, but they were going to warm up as the week moved on. But where those storms happened, we saw a lot of damage out in that area. They saw 70-mile-an-hour winds, like I said. A lot of trees were uprooted, and it was also the largest power outage in New York State in the last 5 years. So they've seen a lot of wacky weather over the last week or so. It looks like it may continue as we move on to the month of February. We'll have to keep an eye on that, though. While all this wintry weather has been a problem, this wintry weather has led to a lot of vehicle accidents across the country. And there is a way to prepare you and your car for safe winter travel.
December and January, along with the coldest days of winter, are behind us. February and March bring warmer days, but the threat of a winter storm can still loom. There are a few simple things you can do to plan for an accident in winter.
A winter survival kit would be just a basic kit in any shape or form with basic materials to sustain you if you were to become stranded or in an emergency situation.
To start off your winter survival kit, include simple first aid supplies, along with food and water. In addition, carry along items that can keep you warm and attract attention to passing cars. You can also buy a pre-made winter survival kit.
It's certainly all right to go ahead and purchase a kit. You can always add to it things that you may want in there, but there are many good kits on the market.
The next time you travel, make sure to include a winter survival kit. You never know when you are going to need it. This is Dan Kohler reporting for Studio One.
Well, it's a good idea to check your winter survival kit every year to make sure your flashlight works and as well as your food and water have not expired. Here's a recap of your weather IQ question. What was the greatest 24-hour temperature change in the U.S.? And your answer is 100 degrees, and that happened out in Browning, Montana. Quite a temperature difference. I know I wouldn't like to see that out there. That's a pretty big temperature difference to wake up to.
Thank you, Matt. It's like a total 180.
Yeah, it was like 44 degrees to minus 56.
56.
Wow, that's cold. It's like spring and then middle of sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go now to Nathan Shane again for more sports.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. Gym class is a time when kids are able to learn while taking part in physical activity. For some kids, that time is spent doing something a bit unusual.
Gym class is a little different today in Terry Davis's second grade class at this elementary school in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Are you ready? While all of the balls are still put away in the closet and the ice skates are stacked away in a pile, there is still fun to be had. Today, the clattering of cups is replacing the sound of bouncing balls.
Speed stacking would be taking 12 cups and setting up stacking cups like you would stack cards.
Speed stacking is relatively new in Mr. Davis's class. He has been using it for about 3 years, and for very good reasons.
Develops better eye-hand coordination. Anytime that you have to cross over left side or the right side, helps in brain function.
The superstar of the sport is Emily Fox. Emily Fox holds the world record in speed stacking, completing the stacks in 7.43 seconds.
And Lewis and Clark Elementary School isn't without its own legend of sorts. Meet third grader Sydney Wisegram. Sydney knows the history, but has realistic goals.
Fastest is Emily Fox. She lives in Colorado, and her fastest is 7.43 seconds.
Think you can ever beat that?
No.
So even though Sydney isn't going for any world records, he and the other students can benefit from something as simple as stacking cups.
10,000 schools participate in speed stacking. The World Sports Stacking Tournament will be held in April this year in Denver, Colorado. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. We want to know how many total medals does the all-time leader have in the Winter Olympics? And the answer is 12, and that's held by Norwegian Bjorn Dale, a cross-country skier who's won 8 golds and 4 silvers in his Olympic career. And that's the sports. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks a lot, Nathan. Many people put summertime activities on hold during the winter. Next, we'll meet one man who enjoys gardening in below zero temperatures.
Also, reading, writing, and arithmetic are the basics in most classrooms. Coming up in our Spotlight story, we'll show you a school that offers much more.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I'm a really good people person.
I really love working with people.
I'm very, very motivated.
I'm a great people person.
I am really motivated.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
Did I mention I'm great with people?
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND offers students exceptional learning opportunities. Undergraduates are helping faculty design and build unmanned aerial vehicles to test remote imaging devices. They're also converting wind energy into hydrogen. Geological science students are contributing to environmental research. Extracurricular activities include designing, building, and racing a fuel cell car. Make the most of your college experience at UND's School of Engineering and Mines.
Let the University of North Dakota become your partner by providing your business with services to enhance your workforce. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience conducting employee satisfaction research, strategic planning, focus groups, and grant development. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
When winter rolls in with blowing wind and snow, many people have to put their favorite pastimes on hold. One man has found a way to enjoy his hobby during any weather condition and is even turning a profit.
Winter in North Dakota can easily be described as chilly, windy, and white. The cold temperatures and snow-covered ground can make some outdoor activities less enjoyable and even impossible until spring. But Dennis Cost has created an environment where he can work on his hobby all year round.
It can be 30 below and it'll stay 70 degrees in there.
Dennis is referring to his greenhouse where he grows about 900 tomato plants year-round and sells them to neighbors and local grocery stores. But it was Dennis's love for gardening, not the money, that got this business started.
If it were just for the profit, I probably wouldn't do it. Plus, I have a lot of nervous energy that I have to use up some way. And so in order not to drive my wife crazy, I have to have a project.
Since his retirement, Dennis works year-round on his tomato plants, thanks to his greenhouse and hydroponics. Dennis uses hydroponics to grow plants in a liquid nutrient. The special fertilizer allows tomatoes to grow faster and all year long.
We have an extended growing season versus what you would grow in your garden where tomatoes would only produce for maybe a few weeks.
Like any job, Dennis has his most and least favorite tasks.
I like growing them and watching them grow as they are in this stage, but picking and sorting and whatever kind of turns me off. But you have to do it.
Next time you're shopping at your local grocery store, look at your foods label. You might find out it was grown closer to home than you thought. I'm Gina Kalemi reporting for Studio One.
During the summer months, Dennis keeps busy in his outdoor garden. He grows plants such as sweet corn, green peppers, and watermelon. President Bush has admitted to authorizing wiretaps secretly since 2001. Some say he's overstepped the boundaries of his power, while others say it's necessary for the continued war on terror. We wanted your thoughts on the subject.
The eavesdropping policy, I don't like that one bit. I've agreed with all his other points, and I like him as president, but this one's a little too far.
Well, I don't know for sure. It's kind of good in one way, you know, for the terrorism, but then it's like what comes next.
I support it 100%. Hopefully it's paying off for all the Americans out there and reducing terrorism.
Well, to me, it's just kind of a fine line there. You know, to a certain extent, it's acceptable, but I mean, to the point where they're bringing it, it just seems to invade most people's common rights.
I think that, there's due process that needs to be taken care of, and that's the law, so we should follow the law. I don't think we should make it up as we go along.
A good education can be hard to find, but one school has students discovering far more than the average curriculum.
This school looks like most others. At a dance, there's a boy who sits alone and a girl who drags him onto the dance floor. Students have goals for their future.
I really might want to work here after we're done. I want to be a lawyer.
And they can get pretty competitive during sporting events. But what most people easily see here, the students cannot see. That's because this school is dedicated to helping those with visual impairments. The students leave their regular school systems for several week-long sessions throughout the year. The School for the Blind in Grand Forks, North Dakota offers many classes during the week, and the students definitely have their favorites.
Orientation and mobility is actually where you're learning to navigate around everywhere.
Orientation and mobility training brings the students out into an environment where finding their way can be challenging, like here on a busy street.
Now, we just heard a vehicle move on your left side. Now, if it was a real busy time, you could use that vehicle moving on your left side and go with it.
Another class favorite is daily living skills.
I like DLS because then I get to cook all kinds of stuff.
My goal for these students is to have them learn good daily living skills. They're able to make a variety of good, healthy meals.
I cooked some easy mac and made some grape juice.
Children without visual impairments learn by watching their parents and peers, which is something these kids are not able to do.
So that's our job, is to try to take everything that a child with sight would learn and experience and bring it into their mode of learning.
Their days are spent with one-on-one training, but their nights are full of exciting social activities. And the students enjoy spending time together.
They have many commonalities, that they enjoy the company of one another. They have an understanding of some of the frustrations that each other experience.
This land is your land. The school is about to commemorate its 100th year, but what's really worth celebrating are the thousands of students who have received degrees and gained independence. And that makes this school truly like any other. This land was made for you and me. With photographer Kelly Mosted, I'm Ann Clark reporting for Studio One.
According to the American Foundation for the Blind, there are approximately 10 million blind and visually impaired people in the United States. Driving instructors stress safe driving habits. We'll talk to a tire expert who might add that a safe set of tires is just as important. We'll talk to him next.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by University of North Dakota Student Government. Your voice, our mission.
The College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota is proud to announce the Page Family Marketing Center. A gift from alumni Greg and Cindy Page, this center promises real-world experiences as students begin careers in marketing. The center includes a specially designed conference room for focus group research. An adjacent lab offers real-time access to software and data for marketing decisions. The Page Family Marketing Center, your next step in marketing.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
Drivers are often conscious of the world around them. They watch their path for pedestrians, road changes, and of course, other drivers. These things can be so distracting that we often forget about the tires that get us to our destination. Tire expert Barry Eaton is here to tell us about the different types of tires and how to make sure they help keep us safe. Thanks for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
When people come in and talk to you about tires, oftentimes what's already on their car? What's the common tire that most people have?
Well, most common tire that comes on cars now is just an all-season steel belted radial. That's pretty common.
Okay, so one that you can keep on your car all year round.
Right.
What are some of the different features that differentiate the tires?
Okay, well, if you take a look at this tire right here, it's got the interlocking groove with some siping in it, and a nice flat footprint. It'll give you longer mileage and decent traction during the winter.
Okay.
Now here's a 3-tread design tire basically. You've got your aqua channels here to channel water. You've got your ice zone here to make this tire really good on snow and ice. This actually is made of volcanic sand and glass. And then on the outer edge you have your dry zone.
Okay, so you actually have 3 different zones on this same tire. Okay.
And this tire down here is basically a snow tire. A lot of people don't use a lot of snow tires anymore because the all seasons have become so good. You really don't need to, but these tires generally don't get you the mileage, and they've got a lot of siping to bite real good on the ice and the snow.
Okay. Well, no matter what kind of tire you have on your car, what are some things you should do to keep them in good shape?
Okay, keep the air pressure at the right pressure and rotate them often, recommended every 4,000 to 6,000 miles. There should be a little plaque on the inside of your driver's door that tells you the manufacturer's recommended air pressure for those tires.
Okay.
And you should check it often.
Well, what are some of the things that can happen if you don't do those things you just said?
If you run your tire too low on air, you're going to wear out both the outer edges, because what happens is the middle kind of sucks up.
Okay, and we actually have an older tire here that someone brought in for you to take a look at, and show us where the wear and tear happens on the tire.
Okay, if you look at the tread here, that looks pretty good, but when you look at the tire, how worn it is here, this car definitely had a front end alignment problem. And then you can see these tread lines that are right here, and they seem to disappear right in here.
Mm-hmm.
This tire has a broken belt, so sooner or later, and probably sooner than later, this is going to bulge out and the steel cords are going to hang out.
Pretty dangerous then.
That could cause a blowout or give you some problems.
Okay. Now, with this tire, is this an all-season tire as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay. When I was a kid, my father had winter tires and summer tires, and he switched them every year. Do people still do that? Is it necessary?
Not very often. If you're somebody that has to get there no matter what the weather, some of those people will buy the snow tires, but most people, if it's really bad outside, wait for the grader, go by their house, and so no, there's not a big demand for snow tires anymore.
Okay, but you can get them. This bottom tire we have is a snow tire.
Yeah, this is an actual snow tire.
What are the main things that make it a good tire for snowy conditions?
Well, the rubber is a softer compound, and that's why they won't last as long as far as high mileage. And you do have the siping here, like I said before, that opens up and closes, acts like little teeth biting the snow. And they also, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a little hole here, another little hole here.
Yeah.
You can put metal studs in them.
I see. Okay.
And that would make them much better on the ice.
Now, you talked about siping. What exactly does it accomplish for you in a tire?
It helps you stop faster on a wet surface. And it also helps you accelerate on a wet surface without spinning your wheels so much.
Sure. Hydroplaning is a big thing with tires, and how does this middle tire help with that?
It's just channels the water out. If you're driving behind somebody that has a set of these tires on, you can actually see how much the water channels out of there. If you've ever hydroplaned, that's a scary feeling.
It is a scary feeling. People coming in, looking at tires, there's a broad range of expense. I mean, you've got basically cheap tires and you've got expensive tires.
Right.
What's the biggest difference? Why shouldn't I go with cheap tires?
Well, the cheap tires aren't going to have the rubber compound, the traction compound, and they're also not going to have as many 30 seconds of tread. Now, a new tire for a car is going to come with anywhere from 10 to 12, 30 seconds of tread. That tire might cost you $60. And the guy down the street has one for $29. His probably only has 30 seconds when it's new.
All right.
So it's not going to last as long. And the technology in the lower priced tires isn't there.
And you basically get what you pay for then.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Barry. A lot to think about with tires. Someone should actually come in and talk to someone who knows what they're doing rather than just going blind, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect North Dakota veterans with important information. North Dakota veterans can use the internet to access employment and business resources, health and benefits they deserve, housing information, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded in part by the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. North Dakota veterans and their families can get connected by visiting go.ndgrow.com.
Become a leader in healthcare with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers degree programs and advanced practice certificate programs in the allied health professions and nursing. Our faculty give you the individual attention you need to help you attain your career goals. Distance programs for practicing professionals allow you to pursue graduate studies without interrupting your career. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I love working with people.
I'm a people person.
I consider myself to be highly motivated.
I'm a real self-starter.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
I can offer you much more than just good people skills.
You're hired.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Tune in next week on Studio One. With wedding season a few months away, many couples are busy making preparations. We'll meet some brides who are going through a special boot camp so they can fit into their wedding gowns. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of people having fun in the winter weather. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.